The 1970s were the golden age of library recordings. These anonymous musicians, some of them quite advanced in years at that point, recording these instrumental jazz funk kind of anonymously for everything from TV specials to jingles to movies. And a lot of it was released as part of the April Orchestra Presente series by RCA. And one such release, volume 13 in that series, was also released as Rock Satellite. The album is by Puccio Roelens, born in 1919. So pushing 60 when this album came out in 1977. And from that, the track Osaka. I believe that those horns right there, Giano Odi, let's see here, and drums by a few people are credited. We have basically musicians so far who were on a lot of these RCA recordings. Notice that kind of ominous sound in the sustained keyboard tones. Interesting, a D minor tonality takes shape, yet all I'm really hearing is the tonic. I'm barely hearing the third that would make it a minor. Its keyboard sounds like that I often describe as luminous. The way they just like illuminate and kind of have that shimmery, shiver-like tone to them. It's hard for me to describe any other way other than to just say luminous. Because there's kind of like a dark vibe to them, yet they glow at the same time. It gives you this. It gives me this kind of. There's kind of a spooky vibe, kind of. I wonder if this was used in anything, like a documentary. smoky aura, the way the sax comes in and like over the keyboards, and those like kind of sinister bass lines. Hear those violin accents just kind of just coming in and just at choice notes. You've got certain instruments really up front in the mix, and then a few things that are kind of out in the distance, like almost indicative of something lurking kind of out on the margins, around the corner, kind of in another room, activity. It gives it kind of a spooky vibe. Yeah, perfect for like a sequence in like a 70s suspense or horror film, or like a documentary, maybe one of those paranormal documentaries of the 70s. There were a few moments that even reminded me of music that I heard in that series, The Sensational 70s, that they used to air on the A&E network. There was an episode for each year of the 70s. I think it may have been hosted by Peter Jennings. I was actually able to find one episode of it, the 1970 episode on YouTube. Anyway, Puccio Roelens, the track Osaka from his 1977 album Rock Satellite, one of a handful of library, stage and screen jazz funk albums that he put out in Europe on assorted labels, including, and was released in France as part of RCA's April Orchestra Presente series, volume 13 in that particular series. Yeah, for other rubies and sapphires off this album and many other great Italian library albums, see the directory of Italian albums. In the description, at least 700 albums on there, annotated, hundreds upon hundreds of rubies, hundreds upon hundreds of sapphires from the rich Italian music scene that was just all over the musical map, from like the dawn of the 1970s up to the mid-80s at least. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you'll be abreast of all the latest uploads, like whether it's a instrumental, whether it's a ballad, whether it's a mid-tempo pop song, whether it's a more melodramatic, epic rock song. From as observed and listened to and guided through by yours truly, Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, writer of 17,000 albums from the tail end of the 60s up through the mid to late 80s. And until the next video, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.